Renault was on 2x2 formation. Road change, now we go racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action is go.
This is very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in. This has all got trouble written all over it. This is G3 cars.
Drop downhill there, head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course. There's another one off through the gravel. As wide as possible as they drop downhill, putting that truck inside line. Yes, he did. Through he goes.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Race 6 of AOR's Season 14. This is Tier 1 Speedy Boys. I am RageF1 and I'm joined by none other than Mr. Tim himself. How are you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, good evening. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm currently sat in a Christmas jumper, seeing as it is now finally December.
Oh, God.
It is a snap-on one, so I'm not completely in the Christmas spirit.
I'll let you off.
Yeah.
With snap-on, I think it'll pass. Well, you're feeling in good spirits. I have some kind of medieval AIDS going on right now, so I will. I'll try my best to get through. Oh, of course, it's 90 minutes today. It's the best time to be feeling unwell. Never mind. We'll soldier on.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a season of AOR if one of us or both of us don't at some point end up with the plague. It always seems to happen. I've somehow avoided it thus far. Currently touching everything wood I possibly can, although the IKEA desk made of cardboard isn't going to do it. There we go. Door over there. Managed to reach over to a door. Yeah, normally
happens.
by this point, my throat would be absolutely ruined, but somehow it's not. So good luck everyone tomorrow night when my voice is burnt out from tonight's stream.
When you have to help me out because I'm dying of plague. Well, I will soldier through. I've taken as many meds as legally possible, and we'll just try and see what happens. We'll go through what's happened last time out. So Zolder, Luke came away with the W. His teammate closely followed, topped by Alex Torregrossa, Comrade Ciata in 4th, and Jardier in 5th place. So how's that changed the standings then so far? Surprise, surprise. Luke is running away with it, and he has 100 points and some change in hand. 479 points for him, and he can wrap up the championship this evening, I'm pretty sure. Maybe we'll just double check the maths on that, but I'm pretty sure he can. Jard's in 2nd place for 361 points because he's got a race in lieu. I think if he's over that 100 points, then there's no way Jards can catch him up, right? Comrade Ciata then in 3rd place with 304 points, and Aidan Walsingham in 4th place with 294, and outside of that is Nicodem with 234 in 5th. Moving further back, Alex Torregrossa, Mattia De Campo, Alejandro Alves, Valentin Barrier and Remy Papin round out the top 10. The latter there, Remy, down 3 places from last race, which is hideous for him. Alex Torregrossa up 5. Fantastic for him. He was 3rd place, I think, for us at Zolder. Well, we're about to go into the qualifying session. Luke did let on it's not his favourite stomping ground, so there is a chance here tonight for others.
There is a bit of a chance, but I mean, having a quick look at the times that were coming in through practice, and obviously some people can sandbag a little bit in practice. But at the moment, Aiden is put in the fastest lap. Gert Fisher in the BMW put in the second fastest, and Luke Whitehead is in third place in first practice. So he's obviously got a bit of pace here this evening. Whether it's consistent pace is yet to be seen, but it won't be very long, and then we'll go over to qualifying, and then all madness will ensue. Quick word on qualifying. Anyone that's in the AOR community on the Discord would have seen the bot would have posted up the AOR qualifying bans, but there has been a slight error in that. There are only 2 qualifying bans this evening, and that is Florian Durakop and Frank Briate. Both of those, for accumulating 5 license points, cannot qualify this evening. I don't think either of them are actually here this evening, to be fair, so that'll be done. And there are 2 drivers that are being completely race banned as well, with 8 points in total.
Fair enough. Those race bans, I think, were coming from a guy with a cool name. Can't remember what it is off the top of my head. You have to, you have to put up with me this afternoon.
It's Yentl the Lentil.
Yentl the Lentil,
Gutman,
yeah.
and Frederick Gutman.
That was the one I was thinking of. Okay, so the Lentil then sitting out, Gutman unfortunately sitting it out with him. Well, let's stay with Chris Warner, so for the little warm-up foray into Kyalami. 90 minutes on the clock today. So yeah, guys, slight change to the strategy. Those people who have been with AOR and been watching for a long time, obviously switch off here. But those who have joined us this season, 90-minute races, you're allowed to refuel, and you are also allowed to change tyres as normal. So, different strategies can come into fruition with the refueling, so do keep your eyes on that. We'll probably see some changes going on at some point during this race. Chris Warner then, himself, whereabouts is he? 12th place in the championship. He finished out Zolder, whereabouts was he? In 12th place. There we go. So he finished the place where he is in the championship. He's done quite well this season. I think his highest place position was technically a 3rd, but it was then disqualified. Misano things. And yeah, apart from that, it was a 7th place. So looking to improve today is the Apex 1 driver. His teammate, though, Nicodem, has got a win under his belt. Now, beginning of the season, you wouldn't have thought that were possible given the pace of Mr. Whitehead. And he very almost made it a clean sweep this year, hasn't he?
Yes, it's almost a shame that he didn't get on that first place podium in the 3rd race. But it is continuing. A nice little pattern is appearing in Tier 2 at the moment with our championship leader currently, which is Fabio Zerbin, who I think is probably going to be up here in Tier 1 next season because it's just been outright domination. He's had a second, a first, and a second. So I've already told him he has to continue with that. So hopefully tomorrow night he's going to come first, so we can continue the nice little gold and silver pattern I've got going across my board. But yes, that's one to look out for next season. Zerbin, he's coming for you, and he's a very, very fast boy.
I'm just going to try and do bear with me with this, a little bit of maths, a small bit of evening maths. If Jards comes away with 100 points today, it would be 461. 461. Luke has 479 points. So, technically Luke can come away with... let's see here. Coordinators, come to my rescue. I've got brain fog. What are we looking at? If
Luke Whitehead doesn't score anything, he's still 18 points ahead.
Yes. I want to know the minimum to win, where you can't be beaten. So let's have a look. So 361 plus 88 is 449. I'm just trying to work out what the minimum amount would be for Jards not to be able to catch him. I think he might be able to win the championship with a 2nd place, maybe even a 3rd. So many things could happen, and Luke Whitehead could still come away with the championship. Anyone in the chat want to have a look into that for me? It's absolutely fine. You can do. Make a note of these points that they've gathered. Luke Whitehead on 479, Jards on 361, and Conrad Ciata on 304, Aidan Walsingham on 294. Do the maths. I'm pretty sure Luke Whitehead only needs to finish 2nd or 3rd to win the championship tonight. It will keep it well, it is almost signed, sealed, delivered if he wins, so good stuff. Kevin Niles, we're asking for. Of course, it's JF in the chat asking for an update on Kevin. He is currently 8th place with that time. He will drop down, though, as he's dropping in front of us. Adam Walsingham claiming top spot, knocks Chris Warner down to 2nd, Ciata in 3rd, Foch in 4th, and Sentema in now 6th, as Luke Whitehead comes in with a 4th place.
I think that was technically his first flying lap, so this is probably going to be the quick one from Whitehead. As we normally see, he does one more lap than everybody else.
Double trouble rate, double loop time.
So Adam Walsingham.
Sorry, mate.
I'm not sure. I mean, I presume maybe it's just to get maybe a slightly better tyre temp, possibly. More consistent tyre temp, maybe a bit more. He gets one lap to get a feel of the car as he's throwing himself around that sort of first flying lap. And then he knows where he can brake a bit more. Is the car up to temp? And then that second lap, he gets a chance to really go for it. I mean, I'm so awfully slow that I tend to just go out with sort of a bit of fuel and just try and put in as many laps as possible in hopes that I gather together something that vaguely resembles a good time. Very rarely happens, mainly because I'm usually lugging around about 20 litres of fuel during quali. But, you know, for people like me, it's just, it's not as important. But for these guys, it's very, very important. At the moment, Luke is descending down the order. He's already down into 7th place at the moment. Although he's coming up towards the end of the lap now.
Okay, so Luke can win the championship with a 2nd place today. I'm pretty sure. Little bit of maths.
It's hard to imagine a world where that's not going to happen, really, isn't it?
Yes, unfortunately, it is pretty hard. Luke Whitehead then crossing the line on what we think is his speedy lap. Comes across and goes 2nd place behind his teammate. Interesting. We found out that it is Luke's unfavourable track, let's say. So yeah, interestingly enough, not enough in his fastest push lap this time around. I'm sure he'll go for another one though. Let's see who's on a faster lap at the moment. Valentin Barrier, all at sea this season it would seem. We know he's fast, don't we, Valentin? But not being able to put together the performances, maybe trying out this new car, the new Lamborghini Evo, which seems to be favoured by the faster drivers, but not able to tame the bull, it seems. Maybe this is a good track for him.
Possibly not running. I would imagine he's going for 0 traction control, but possibly not. Maybe he is running just that tiniest little amount of it just to keep himself a bit more in check. But again, it is a new car, it is a new season. Lots of new names here as well. We've seen quite a big influx of drivers coming in over the last couple of years, especially, since the big lockdown. Lots of people that weren't into sim racing got into it, and there's been a massive influx of fast drivers. So it's not necessarily that he has got any slower, it's just that everyone around him is incredibly quick. So he is coming across the line now, so what have we got there? Puts himself up into 4th.
Good lap. She'll do.
That's not to be sniffed at, is it? Not to be sniffed at whatsoever.
I think he'll definitely take that. Talking of good laps, another 10th added to the tally for Mr. Walsingham. I'm sure he'll take that in his stride and use it for the best possible reasons, and that's beating his teammate Luke Whitehead. We're on board then with Samir Foch, the old boy, coming through.
Oh, yes. Big lap from Gert Fischer. Sorry, up into 2nd place.
Absolutely fine. I love a good lap. Kieran Prendergast, go on, all the best, my son, from Papa Prender. Welcome back, sir. He's a regular in the chat and also in Tier 1. Where is Kieran? P19 at the moment. What car is he running? Can't really remember. He likes a Ferrari, does Kieran?
It's the Brabham Esports Aston Martin.
It does, yes. It's the Brabham Esports Aston, which is currently sat in the pit. So we'll jump away from that for a sec, but we will keep an eye on how well Prendergast Jr. gets on. As we watch Conrad Ciata go sideways down towards, I think that's barbecue, I think he says. No, it's not. It is Louis Kopp. It was in the S's.
They're all a bit of a blur, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're all a bit of a blur.
The names are funny. You've got Louis Kopp, Mineshaft, the Crocodiles, Cheetah, the Kink, Crowthorne, Ingui, Barbecue, Clubhouse, Sunset, and Juxui Sweep.
Nice and easy. I want to give a quick shout out to the 777 car, and that is of Jimmy Holm, the homing missile. He is back.
Holmster.
He took part in the first race, and I was so excited. And then ever since then, I haven't seen him again. And that's a real shame. He hasn't been able to start any of the other races, but I'm glad he's back for the Kyalami race in that 777 bright green homing missile of the Ferrari. So, yeah, maybe a little bit of a Tier 2 favouritism coming through there. He was one of our Tier 2 drivers. So, no, I'm glad to see he's back up and racing again.
I might see who he's behind. It's the all-white Porsche that we always seem to lose. I can't remember who drives that. Is it Arnold Hours? Yes, it is. There you go. Arnold Hours in the G-Lingui Esports. Lovely livery just for a white car. Don't know why. Always just does things, a white car. But yeah, homing missile, 777. Good to see him back on the track. Maybe he was able to shuffle things around this afternoon. I think that's old Prendergast behind there. It is indeed going through the crocodiles towards Cheetah. Let's go on board, actually. See what it's like to go through this section, because it's pretty tricky. Just got to be very careful you don't hit that hump, and he's actually lining himself up for another lap here, so maybe we'll jump on him in a minute. Aina Morsingham then still the class of the field. Gert Fischer in second place, Luke in third but looming, Alejandro Perez in fourth place, Nicodem in fifth, Samir Foch and Mattia Di Campo in sixth and seventh. The only person I haven't seen on the... there he is. I knew it'd be somewhere. Jarier is currently in 19th place. Not doing too well this evening. A 140.8 is his best, and the 140.0 is the current class. So a little bit more work for the young Czech to get under his belt here at Kyalami. A little bit more effort it needed, unfortunately. F+ at the moment for Jards.
Yeah, that's an absolutely massive amount of time to make up. I mean, even in any old race, that's a big amount of time. But here in Tier 1, I mean, that's a lifetime, isn't it? Surprising, though, that it's not that much of the grid all within a second of each other. Actually, hang on, I'm just having a look. No, 23 drivers all within a second of each other. So I retract my statement. Quite a big chunk of them all within a second.
Yes, 24 of them, or 24 of them. Holmster being the last of the seconders. We are with Kieran Prendergast at the moment, who's, I think this is an open... No, it can't be because he's 20th place. Whereabouts is he on his split time? Well, he's actually down for Kieran Prendergast. Calvin Lejekas. I think he's off the bounce of a ban of some kind, old Lejekas. Super Snell Racing. Pretty sure he had a race ban. Maybe it was just a quali ban. Can't seem to remember him last time, but he is with us again this evening. No movement going on at the top end of the field, unfortunately, guys, otherwise we'll keep you informed. The only improvement at the moment is from this person, Abe Sentema, currently a 10th up. Luca Vidlich with arguably the best paint scheme of this season. Have you seen it? The golden black livery?
Yeah, it is an absolutely stunning livery, isn't it? Very reminiscent of the old Lotus F1 cars, I believe. But yeah, just look at that. It's such a gorgeous car. I mean, there are some fantastic liveries out there this year, but yeah, I think this. Sorry, I keep saying this year. It's this season. But yeah, you know, it is a really good looking livery.
This
really
year.
well put together.
We only do 2 a year. This year is still valid.
Wait, do we only do 2 seasons a year?
Yeah, we do one. I think we do one in the spring times. Normally starts around April. That goes all the way through to about June, July, and then we start this one. I thought it was end of August, beginning of September time. I think it's two a year.
God knows. I've lost the plot.
It feels like more.
I always thought there was at least 3, but there we go. That's just my brain.
I'm pretty sure there's 2. 7 races. There might be 3. I could be wrong.
Very surprised to see that Whitehead hasn't been able to take anything back yet. I think this is him about to start one of his final flying laps, really. Maybe got 1 or 2 in the bag still, but currently still running in 3rd place on the grid. He's just crossed the line, but Gert Fischer still holding out 2nd place, and Walshingham still holding out 1st at the moment.
Wasn't an improvement for Luca, unfortunately. We did jump on board for him to come across the line. You're talking about the Ripper. He is up at the moment, so maybe we'll stay with him for this stint. He's got a lot of traffic. He's got Conrad Ciata for pace, and he's got Kevin Niles as well, just in between him and him. It looked like Niles, though, was getting out of the way, but jumped back online to go through, I think that is Sunset. So now they're coming back through Clubhousey area towards the S's. So he'd be hoping for Niles really to get out of the way if he's not on a fast lap. Not sure if this is going to be the one here. Yeah, Niles is definitely down at the moment. So hopefully he'll move out the way from him. Where's Conrad Siata? He is. Oh, he's well off the pace. So he's got a little bit of competition ahead of him. Yeah, he's 17th place, Conrad.
Yeah, this could be a real kicker for Whitehead. Oh, there we go, actually moving out of the way. He goes on past that lovely 7-Up liveried Aston Martin. Wings on past, give him plenty of space. But doesn't really look like Whitehead's improving. Sort of stale. Oh, and he's actually down on his time. So this, he's going to have this across the line and one more. He should be able to make it to the line in time, I would say. 18 seconds to get across that line should be plenty.
He gave it a wide berth as well, so
he
definitely
really
scrapped that lap, didn't he?
Yeah.
All right, we'll stay with him then, seeing as it's probably going to be a challenge for pole. Currently, Aidan Walsingham in the lead and up on his time. Gert Fischer in second place. And then this man, Luke Whitehead, coming through turn 2. Funny little section this. You've got to get the perfect line, otherwise it puts you out for turn 4. Spot on there. Oh, look how early he was on the power. Oh, out onto the grass though. That's not the best line through there, but he kept his foot in. I'm surprised he didn't lose the car. Feathering the throttle as he goes through sunset to try and get the perfect time to apply the throttle. I think he's battling the car. Is he overdriving here?
Possibly, and he's got to be careful because Perez just behind him, on the timing screen, is up on his lap time by 0.1 of a second, so he may be taking away that third place position on the grid. I'll keep a little eye on that one just while you're keeping an eye on Whitehead.
Yeah, I thought it was a little early on the power through barbecue. It just almost hadn't touched the apex and he was back on the throttle. Maybe that's just Luke's style. But yeah, a little bit of a scrappy first sector. Pulled it together and got underneath the car a little bit in the second. Oh, he's lost the rear end, and that's it. I thought he was overdriving that car, and that shows it. Luke Whitehead then won't get any higher than 4th place. Neither will Perez, a little further back. Conrad Siata then, who was ahead of him with the low fuel Motorsport 992, coming across the line. Will he improve this afternoon? He is 8th place, and he will start no higher than 8th then. I don't think anyone else is out at the moment. Luciano's just come across the line, and that is it. We're all done. Aidan Walsingham claims, I think it's his maiden pole of the year. We'll double check that. Gert Fischer in second. Perez got past Luke Whitehead. Yeah, 4th place for Luke currently. Can't win the championship today. We'll have to go another week. Nicodem in 5th. Chris Warner in 6th. And Samir Fosh in 7th. Siata 8th. Abe September 9th. And Josh Waring in 10th. Well, there you go. Qualifying's all done.
I mean, he can't necessarily win it outright on his own pace, but Jards all the way down in 17th. It's really leaving it pretty easy for old Whitehead there. I mean, Jards gonna have to make up some serious places to try and catch up with the back of him. If not, I think the gap, although isn't maximum extended, I think it just pretty much leaves it for him, doesn't it? Really, I mean, Jards is gonna have an absolute screamer of a race to get that to work.
We can keep an eye on it. So pretty much at the moment, where's Jards? Where is he on the old track?
17th place.
17th place. Well, that'll give him 18 points at the moment. So all Luke needs to do is stay 118 points ahead, and he's got the win sorted out this season. This race. At the moment, he is 100 and let's work this out. 479. Get the old calculator out, mate. 479 minus 361. 118. Oh, well, there you go. Jards can't finish any lower than he's starting today. Otherwise, Luke will win wherever he finishes.
It's going to be a tough one, isn't it? I mean, Jards should make up some positions, but you can never discount the pace of Whitehead. We've seen it many, many times, even amongst these big boys here. He can just seem to make gaps work. He can just keep going and push through. So every time that Whitehead gains a position, Jards has got to try and get a position as well. I mean, it's one of those tracks, plenty of opportunities to overtake, lots of places people make mistakes here. All the way that first sector as well is a real absolute sort of, you know, throw everything at it and hope it sticks kind of sector. Lots of places people can get you up the inside and completely ruin half of your lap just simply because they get themselves up the inside. Even if they're not even ready to get ahead of you, they're able to slow you down enough going up the hill, sort of, you know, towards sunset and places like that. So it's gonna be a close one, I think.
Definitely.
It's gonna be a close one.
I'm just going through qualifying throughout the year to see if Aiden ever got himself at the top, and so far I don't think he has. So this is maiden qualifying session for Aiden Walsingham, so he'll be looking to finish on that. It'd be great to see Aiden at the top spot. I'm really excited to see how well he does today, knowing that he's got Luke all the way further down in fourth. I say all the way. This is Luke Whitehead. All the way down in fourth place. Well, I've already gone through the top 10, so if you're listening earlier, I won't do it again. I won't bore you. We start off with Josh Waring, I think we've been corrected, in 10th place. A little further down then, 6th row of the grid, will be Alejandro Alves with Mattia de Campo. Valentin Barrier will be down in the 7th with Kieran Prendergast. Good qualifying for Kieran. Junko Termanen and Calvin Lejekas, a little bit further down on the 8th row of the grid. Jards then, boom, 17th. Can't finish any lower than this, otherwise Luke has won the championship wherever he finishes, because I think there's only 30 starters today-ish. Luciano is in 18th place. Nowicki in 19th. And Barnabas Faiscast will be joining him on the 10th row of the grid, also with a very lovely livery with the Ragioli Racing team. Luca Vidalik just behind him on the 11th row with Jimmy Holm, the Holmster. Kevin Niles then a little bit further back with Walter Bullen down there on, I think that's the 12th row of the grid. Lois and Anud Hours on the 13th. Marco Badowski and Jonas Kraft on the 14th. Wojciech Dovrak and Venci Rachov. That's a hard little step on the grid there for me to get through. That'll be 15th row. Julian Vanbrugh joining us again, and he'll be on the 16th row with Milan de Klippel in the flat-out Dirk Hulp NL Racing team McLaren. 2 McLarens at the back, and we have a load of Lamborghinis at the front. They have pulled away, Tim. Sorry.
Oh no, absolutely fine. It's only the outlap, so it's absolutely all good. I mean, this is obviously the first run down to turn 1. An absolute sea of cars all building up. Bit of a slow getaway by Whitehead then, but then immediately clamps the throttle and catches back up with everyone. Whitehead maybe he's not quite so used to being further back, and he has to just slow himself down and get himself back into the right place. Yes, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, it comes up with a timer, then it tells you to get back to your place. We actually saw that at Zolder in Tier 2. A driver obviously just didn't get away. Don't know what whether they didn't start the car or whatnot, but then they were absolutely flying to try and catch up with them. And just as they were catching up with the back of the pack, suddenly they reappeared in the pit. So, but I mean, they did miss out on all the first couple of laps of drama, which you always see. So, yes, actually, a lot of the Tier 1 guys were in the chat that last week for Tier 2. They came and joined us, and yes, got to see some questionable driving standards. has to be said. Yeah, I think the less said the better on that one. Yes, I had a very, very broken voice by the end of it, and my spirit was fairly battered as well, to be fair. But it's Monza. Yeah. As of yet, no. A little bit of trading paint, but beyond that, everyone seems to be pretty respectful. It's 3 wide a bit further back, but I think probably keeping an eye on the front battle is where to keep an eye on for the moment. Was car number 60, car number 60 that went off onto the grass, which is another Brabant Esports still as opposed to number 10. Oh, and the Porsche goes round as well. That's car number 566. That has just been rotated. That was Nowicki. Lots and lots of changing inside the mid-20s at the moment. There's been a 2x2 procession pretty much all the way from turn 1 all the way to the S's, and they're still changing places as we go. And Giles is already up to 14th place, so at the moment, championship is not sewn up quite yet. But you wouldn't, Luke definitely isn't the kind of character to sort of F1 style formulate some drama and purposely, sort of throw this race away in an attempt to make the final, sort of a closer, more exciting battle. If he can win it, he will win it. He's just, he's here for the W, and that is it. And fair play. He always does it cleanly and well. So yeah, bit unusual. Maybe again, this is the thing of what we were saying earlier on when we spoke to him last week as well. That he was saying this isn't his favourite track. He was quick during quali, but not the quickest. Is it a case of when he's then surrounded by other cars in a race scenario, maybe his racecraft just isn't as tuned as normal when it comes to Kyalami? Well, yeah. No. He was basically a second down on everyone in front of him that last lap. He did a 1:42.4, and the slowest in front of him was a 1:41.6. So, everybody really, really did absolutely, go for it on that outlap. And everyone in front of him is still improving. He is improving himself this lap. But yeah, he's got himself into more traffic, and that's not what he's going to want at all. yeah, it's one of those places you kind of got to say, Sector 1, I think if you can get your car side by side on the exit of Turn 1, then you can really unsettle someone, and it really becomes a battle of wills as you sort of fire your way up the hill. It's like who's going to be bravest and try and hold on to the line into barbecue. If you can get the inside line and not push anyone out too wide, fantastic. If you can hold on to the outside line and run a little bit of grass, but somehow keep the momentum, then you can have the inside for sunset. You've got to be brave, get the car next to somebody, and once you're side by side, that's when it all comes together. But you're very rarely going to be able to just sit on the back of someone and just outbrake them into a turn and then, shoot on out the other side in front of them. It really is a case of get side by side, unsettle your opposition, and then go for it. And speaking of overtakes, though, Whitehead has got himself back up into 4th place again. He has got past the Apex Racing gentleman. So he's managed to get 1 position back. Maybe the car warming up a little bit better now. It's now looking towards the back of Perez. Been a little while this season since we've seen him up at the sort of sharp end of the field. He's had a bit of a mixed season as old Foch this year. Let's have a little look, see back down. So yeah, that was a 5th place at Misano, wasn't it? I just had him on my screen and then I scrolled. He's had a 12th, a 24th, and a 5th. Apart from that, he's had a didn't finish and a could not start. So yeah, mixed fortunes, but I say good to see him flying up the sort of pointy end of the grid. As Misano's results were all a bit squiffy at the end of it, weren't they? I mean, lots of drivers got promoted, and a few drivers got very much demoted. So watching that one, is he still driving the old one? I mean, is he just a glutton for punishment? Is that what we're seeing here? Apparently, only one of us might be audible.
Oh, that's me. Yeah, terribly sorry. It was me. My mistake. I had it muted.
Oh, well, that's absolutely fine. It was more just to be a case of, make sure we weren't depriving anyone of anyone's voices.
Oh, Abe off in Cheetah. Sorry to shout, but yeah, and there is the door open for Kieran Prendergast. Jards is going to have a look here. We'll go on board with Jards as he gets right up the inside of Kieran Prendergast. Abe is going to defend here into turn 1. Oh, into the pit lane they go then. And there is a touch between Jards and Abe. A little bit of a harsh defence there. Car number 14, I mean, you've got to leave space for the driver. You can't put them in the wall, and George is probably saying something similar, you know? He saw the move coming. George maybe could have switched back, forced that one move potential. You can't weave. And that's a position gain then for Kieran, and a position loss for Santima. And yeah, George unable to capitalise after that, but I'm sure he'll be very, very much annoyed.
Yeah, I've had that move done to me myself here at Kyalami. It was actually during one of the evaluation races. I nearly got put into the wall, which was fun. Had a bit of an overlap, but then got ran all the way to the left. It's one of those things as well that, like, you don't want to weave over to the right-hand side of the track, because then you're going to be on the outside down towards the hairpin. And realistically, if you can stick to the inside, that's where you want to be. But yeah, just sometimes that door gets closed on you, and you have to sort of try and rethink it. But also, you're probably thinking that Jars didn't want to lift out the throttle and lose that speed advantage that he had. That's the one place where the Aston really does seem to sort of hold its own, is that top-end speed. Really see it towards the bottom of the hill, actually. Is it the bottom of the Crocodile, or is it Mine Shaft? I'll have to remember.
Crocodile's 13, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, down sort of Mine Shaft into Crocodiles, you can really see the top end of the Aston comes to life.
Abe had a really bad Ingwe.
Jars is to the left-hand side again. He hasn't got the overlap yet, but this is where you see that last gear just starts to stretch out a little bit. Abe giving him a bit of space this time. That's a big old overlap.
Abe running around the outside, almost holding on to it.
Yeah, giving it a really good go. I think he just unsettled himself a little bit on that exit curb. But he does just about go through, and he's got two battling Lamborghinis behind him as well.
That's a Barrier into Campo, holding on to position. Barrier almost getting past Campo. George through and up then into P12, and he's got a battle to get back up into the rear end of Kieran Prendergast, both in same machinery, I must add. So the woes continue for George. He's up against it, isn't he, this afternoon?
He is. Speaking of people up against it, Samir Foch is now under attack from Ciata and Waring. They were very, very close just a moment ago. He's pushing hard, but that Porsche is looking rather quick of Ciata's. He was quicker last lap.
It is good to see, though, Samir in the old machinery still doing things, getting the job done in the old Ferrari.
This has been the thing, obviously, because we're running the custom balance of performance. So rather than using the standard in-game one, this season we are trialing, and I think it's probably going to be, it's been a hit so far, I'd say. It's probably going to continue using this custom BOP. It has meant that because you can balance it off, you can get some of these slightly older cars or less favourable cars up into a decent battling position in the championship, and it's absolutely fantastic to see. Oh, car number 34 with the yellow flag. Not sure who that is, but it who was that? One of the Thomas Eng sim racing cars. It's Wojciech. That's
Yes.
a very poorly looking car.
I think he's been cheated.
Would make sense.
Yes, I'm gonna.
The cheetah sausage takes no prisoners.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that was cheater. Josh Waring, is he in a different car? I didn't think he was in a Porsche last time out. Correct me if I'm wrong. He was in a McLaren, so surely he's got a reset of points and he'll be out in the McLaren. Is that a mistake? Not sure. Definitely in different machinery today.
Ooh, for myself, I jumped back to see that incident. He actually collected car number 45 as well, one of the Mercedes, and it was Cheetah. It was Cheetah, but it wasn't actually the sausage curb that finished him off. He went wide at the exit of Cheetah in car number 34, and then sort of ended up rotating across the track. I believe he was holding the brakes from what I could see from my position in the comms box, but yeah, big old hit in car number 45 as well. Badowski.
That says Badowski. Is he right down at the back there? Yeah,
yes,
30th.
where are we looking? Yeah, he's got a serious amount of front end damage. He, T-boned the car that was in front of him. There wasn't really anywhere he could go. He tried to move out of the way, but obviously the McLaren just was carrying enough enough inertia that it wasn't able to stop either, and the two of them came together very hard. Good Smile Racing Mercedes is not looking like it's got a very good smile anymore. It's looking like it's got a couple of rounds with Mike Tyson.
He's been Tysoned. We're on board at the moment with Jards then, trying to get past Kieran Prendergast. Not having much luck. He's managed to close the gap, but now he's stuck in the wash. And obviously he's not able to deploy his top speed because the guy in front of him has also got the same car. So probably going to be a little bit of a long day in the office from here on in. And we'll maybe come back to that a little later. What's going on then for Luke? Looks like he's got himself up into 3rd place. Is he always in 3rd place?
He was in 3rd, then he lost the place to... Oh, no,
he
Perez.
wasn't.
Yeah,
Perez has gone.
dropped back, hasn't he? Perez has dropped back 2 places.
Yeah. Perez must have had a mistake there somewhere.
It was a slow lap last time round. It was a 1:42.8 for Perez last time.
Well, what was the time for Luke last time around? 1:41.9. So, was Luke and Alejandro in some sort of altercation? Interesting.
There is a way I can find out.
Could you?
There is a way I can find out. I'm gonna go back and have a little look. That does mean I won't really be able
lap
to say
9, lap 8 or lap 9, I think there might have been a Whitehead Perez incident. Not too sure where, but I'm just surmising it. I don't know if it's going to be true. Don't want to ever call someone out for having an accident, but it could possibly have happened. Who knows? Samir Foch is right up there. Considering how much these guys have closed up, I think there could have been some fisticuffs somewhere. Samir is right on the back of Chris Warner, who's right on the back of Perez. And then you've got Nico also in this little tussle. And then Luke just running away. So let's maybe see what happened. Samir in the 888 Ferrari is catching this little pack then. And Ciata... Looks like maybe Ciata's been moved around as well, because he was in 8th. He's not in 8th. I swear he was in front of Samir. I could be wrong. No, he wasn't. He was always behind with Waring. So yeah, ignore me. But yeah, definitely battles going on. And another battle then. Perez off and into the wall. Unfortunately for him, he's going to find it very hard to rejoin there. Alejandro giving a really wide berth. And he's got huge rear end damage. We'll go back and see that. That looks like a small altercation with him and Waring. Or Waring, whatever we call it. Just going into turn 10. A small little touch. He just squeezed. It got him into the wrong place on the braking zone. And unfortunately, Alejandro Perez will pay the price for that. It wasn't really Alejandro's fault, but he did kind of squeeze Josh Waring. Never mind, he's fallen way back now, back behind Valentin Barrier. That's going to be a long day for Alejandro. Any news?
So Whitehead versus... Oh, where's he gone on the list? Hang on, am I losing my mind?
Whitehead versus Perez.
That was the one. Where is gone from my...
1-1-1. If that helps, Luke Whitehead is the 55.
So basically, there was no altercation between them. It was a slightly flawed run, we'll say, for Perez through the S's. It just meant that then they could Whitehead could get a little bit of an overlap through Leacoup and then down through Mineshaft and the Crocodiles. They were very, very close, but on the exit of Crocodiles, there was a bit of a mistake again then for Perez. I think he was feeling the pressure of having the Ripper breathing down his neck. And then before they got to Cheetah, Perez had to concede on the outside and just tap the brakes and slotted back in behind Whitehead, and that gave him the position.
Well, there we go. Now we know it wasn't an altercation, it was a fair pass. That's 4/5/10th loss for Luke Whitehead. Was probably the toe-to-toe stuff and the side-by-side in the final sector that lost him that time. But there you go.
Did Perez end up all the way down in 15th? Because while I was looking at that, something else happened.
Yes, he got spun into turn 10 by Josh Waring. No, sorry,
Okay.
Chris Warner.
Right. I could hear you speaking in the background, but my brain was concentrating on numbers and pressing buttons, so I missed out a little bit what was going on there. But yeah, so that's a bit why I was a bit confused, as I was looking and I was like, hang on, who was he battling with a moment ago? But yeah, goes from bad to worse for Perez then, really, doesn't it? Bit of a shame, and obviously carrying damage here. It's not where you want to be carrying damage, especially front end aero damage. Places like the S's, he already had an issue there once before, but he's going to have even worse times now. He's got Terminen chasing after the back of him at this point as well. Very fast driver.
It's going to be a long journey backwards, this race, I think. For Perez now, unfortunately. He's going to really struggle on race pace, so he'll be going further and further back. He'll probably opt for an early pit, but that damage is going to be huge to shave off in the pit stops. So, currently then, Aiden leading himself a nice lead at the moment. Got a 2.5 on Gert Fischer, and then 4.5 back to Luke Whitehead. A second or so back to Nico, and then Chris Warner. So Apex 1 slightly behind Veloce again. And then you've got the battle that we're watching at the moment, Samir versus Conrad Ciata. Currently now 6th and 7th place each. Josh Waring in 8th, 6th and 7th. Josh Waring in 8th, and Alejandro Alves in 9th place. Kieran doing well in 10th, but he's got Jards for company. So that's going to be fun for him.
There is actually 2 Veloce teams. There's the Veloce Lambo boys, and then there is just Veloce, which is quite funny to see that there's 2 separate Veloce teams.
Who's in the other Veloce team?
I will do my darndest to tell you right now.
I thought one of them is one of them, and the other one is the other. Luke's Veloce Racing, and the other one is just Veloce.
Well, there's Veloce Esports Lambros, and then there's Veloce Esports. Now, Veloce Esports Lambros currently has 773 points. So that's obviously going to be Aidan Walshingham and the man himself, Luke. But then I'm not actually... Annoyingly, it doesn't actually say on here who is in the esports. But I mean...
I'm going to go down the whole grid until I find them.
So Jards, 2nd place. He is a Veloce esports driver, and surely there's another one. There must be another one somewhere. Otherwise, how on earth is he managed? Jards on his own apparently is. Yeah, Jards on his own apparently is racing for the team Veloce esports, but somehow is outdoing Apex 1. Fair enough. Just on his Todd. But,
is it him on his own?
As far as I can see, yeah, I can't see anyone else on the official listing running for just Veloce Esports. There's the Lambros, but then that's it.
Well, there you go. I know obviously Jards is in the Yas Heats FROP and has been halfway through the season. He still can't get onto the back of Kieran Prendergast. He's doing a mighty job, I must say, keeping Jards honest. Going on further back then. Unfortunately, this was a real tough race, this one. Would have probably slightly better to do the 90-minute at a track maybe like Suzuka or Bathurst maybe. Get a little bit more action. Watching at the moment Walter Billen and the Holman missile, fighting for position behind Faiskus in the really nice liveried Porsche. All got battle scars to their name by the looks of things. All slightly raggedy. It's good to see the Holman missile trying to get out of the top 20 and into the teens.
Yeah, those 3 drivers were definitely trading a fair amount of paint, let's say. Oh, penalty starting to come through as well. And speaking of trading paint, here we go. I will start getting through them. Oh my goodness gracious. There is a lot of information on that one. Okay, that was a no further incident.
Chat have come in and said that Jards and Barrier are Veloce boys, even though obviously they're running different liveries. I mean, Valentin's running this HYMO livery, which actually is really nice. Whether he's part of the Veloce guys, I don't know. I mean, you guys probably know more than we do, to be honest. But there you go. I know Valentin normally is running with those guys. He runs in the same circle, so it could be that that's correct. But Barrier having a disaster season, really. One to forget, I think, for Valentin.
Yeah, definitely has not been what he would have wanted at all this evening, has it? If I'm honest, there is so much written down here.
Don't go for it's fine. You just tell us what who the penalties are for. It looks like it's Billen and Kraft in the sin bin.
I've got the Billen one here. So that was involving car number 83, 183, 777, 901. That was lap 1. So 5-second time penalty for car number 183 and 2 license points. Obviously, you get that bonus license point because it was on lap 1.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah, in lap 1, they are being really strict this year. And
bonus
so
points.
If you gain a license point, you get an extra license point for lap 1 incidents. I mean, to be fair, sometimes you do need a bit of a crackdown. People just absolutely go for it, and it can be, we've seen a couple of wet races. Well, I'd say a couple, mostly wet races this season as well. So lap 1 incidents have really cascaded. So that is Walter Billen picking up a 5-second penalty for that one. And then the next one is car number 77, 183. 5-second penalty and 1 license point, and that is for Jonas Kraft for hitting a car in turn 2, braking very late, and yeah, basically just braking too late on that one. So lots of words this evening in the race control. Lots and lots of words. Normally they're not quite so wordy. Someone's obviously got their writing hat on this evening.
Someone's got the words out.
Yeah, someone's got the words. They've obviously got a dictionary for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, Samir Foch just made himself past Chris Warner and goes incredibly wide and loses that little gain. I don't know about crackdown. Coordinators need to put the crackdown. Why would you award penalty points for turn 1, lap 1 incidents? Balmy. I get it. It's to try and stop people from going balls to the wall at the beginning of the race, but I mean, it happens. And race drivers, for Christ's sake. You can't give more points because of an incident that happened on the first lap in comparison to an accident that happened on the second lap. It makes no sense. It's like, well, what's the difference? They're both still toe-to-toe through those periods of the race, but apparently you get penalised more because it's the first lap. It would make more sense for the first 5 laps. You get double bubble as opposed to just the first. I do get it, but still, it seems balmy to me. Anyway, who am I to, rise against the coordinator's strong opinions when it comes to penalties? They do a great job, not going to lie, and there's a lot of work involved. But yeah, don't get that one. I'm sure they can explain it in a better way than we can. Slight improvements then, and then straight slaps back into 6th place for Samir Foch as he tries desperately to get past Chris. Not happening though.
Sorry, could not speak a single word then. Nothing came out. That really is our closest battle at the moment. To be fair, we've got Santima versus De Campo a bit further back. Oh, but then a big mistake from De Campo, and so what I was saying is absolutely gone. Massive gap now opening up.
Yeah, we can see a little fight going on with Jards, Prendergast and Alves just losing the position there. Prendergast going toe-to-toe with Alejandro. He loses that fight, and I think that's what we're going to see. People going really, really hard into turn 1, going deep, and then the competitor taking the position back that they just nipped from them in turn 1. And that's exactly what happened to Kieran, and it also just happened to Samir the lap previous. Still fighting for 9th place. He's got little Jards there nipping at the heels like a terrier, like you say. No movement so far.
I'm going to say that today that Jards is a German pointer, I would say, even though he may not be German, but we're going for a dog analogy.
A Czech pointer.
But he's a pointer, and I think he's staying back. He's keeping an eye on this battle in front. So Abeles versus Prendergast, 2 very quick drivers, but Jards is one of the old guard. He's been here before many, many times. He races in pretty much everything that has wheels when it comes to sim racing. So I think maybe he's just dropped back a little bit. and he's just let Prendergast go forward and attack car number 23 of Avalais, and he'll be there just to strike when's needed. Or I might be completely wrong, and he might just be genuinely struggling to keep up with these two, because their pace is pretty fantastic, to be fair.
No, I think he's just notched back a bit. I don't think it's counterintuitive for him to put pressure on when the car ahead is fighting. Maybe if he sees, stay there, of course, stay within, a tenth or two. As Prendergast goes for another move, then same again as we had last time, getting the braking done, and there goes Jards up the inside. And that's Alejandro. Lost 2 positions in the space of 2 corners. Alejandro trying to fight it back, but no. There's the pace of the Aston Martin for you, Tim.
To be fair, yeah, I mean, Prendergast did open a door that was exactly the size of an Aston Martin, so, I mean, Jards would be foolish not to also try and go through that door. Oh!
Lovely drift.
Yeah, huge slide. I mean, fair play for holding on to it. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the Tokyo Drift song suddenly started playing in my head. But he did manage to hold on to it, but that's a lot of time lost. But fantastic move there by Prendergast into turn 1, and a great opportunistic drive there from Jards as well, taking away another position. Up into the top 10 now, and Whitehead still only in 3rd. Though, at the moment, championship is not completely tied up.
Well, I think I was basing it on the fact that if Jards won, Luke Whitehead, all he needed was a 2nd place. So I think it still might be all over. But we'll see when it gets towards the end. It'd be really nice if the coordinators could let us know what the maths is doing. I know I'm not the best when it comes to calculator work, but I'm sure it's quite close.
Yeah, there's a reason I play with hammers and spanners for a living. It's when it comes to math, it's definitely not my bag at all. So
Spanners and hammers, I love it.
Hammers and spanners, baby. Hammers and spanners. Although there's a lot of computers in it now, sadly. But there we go. We'll leave my rant about the motor trades to another day.
Hammers and spanners. That would be a great name for a podcast. Welcome to the Hammers and Spanners podcast with RageF1 and Tim. What would we talk about?
Probably hammers and spanners.
I reckon so.
Now that it's winter, cut knuckles, because that seems to be my favourite at the moment. Is catching knuckles on stuff.
When you slip on that bolt and you go hand first into a lower control arm, it's just lovely.
We've all been there. We have all been there. My favourite is a Ford Transit front wheel bearing removal. That's always fun. When you miss with your hammer and you clamp your hand, and you just that moment where you're not sure if you've broken it or not, and you just have to just have a little moment in the corner of the workshop to yourself, and everyone leaves you alone as you just stand there.
Why do you need a hammer for a bearing removal?
Oh mate, it's a housing. It's an awful job. It's just an awful job.
Do you not have those tools that you kind of like, you clamp on, you spin it around and it pulls it off?
Mate, I would love it if you could get that tool in there, but nope. I will find a video of one of those front wheel bearings, and you'll understand. You will understand.
I didn't realise as well how hard it is to change injectors on diesel vans. No idea. And I saw some people moaning about them. I was like, what's this, an injector? And some of the tools and bits and pieces they use to get injectors out. I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's some pretty ridiculous stuff. Half the time you end up breaking the head just to get the injector out.
Yes.
Which is always fun.
You do.
They just get so welded in there over time. Oh, joy.
One of my close friends, I think, has gone through 2 or 3 heads on his van at the moment, simply because injectors, just injectors. New head on the old van. Oh, really, injectors? Yes, it was. He upgraded for a Mercedes turbo diesel. Turbo went on the motorway, so that was fun. Injectors to then turbo failures. I think just go with petrol and you're kind of fine. Oh, fine. Pay a little bit more at the pump, but...
I won't say anything. I'm just going to stay silent.
All fine.
Stay silent. They're all fun. Everything is fun. Speaking of fun, Prendergast seems to still be having lots of fun. Still running in 9th place. Jards not able to catch up with the back of him as of yet.
Talking of catching up the back of him, Luke Whitehead losing time. He's being caught by Nico, Warner and Foch. And Ciata.
He really is, isn't he?
Yeah.
And that whole train of cars is catching up the back of him as well, isn't he? I mean, I imagine the slight advantage there that Nicodem and Warner, Warner aren't going to be fighting for position, and obviously that does sort of leave Nicodem to just go full attack. He's not going to be worrying too much about that, and a sudden attack from the rear that isn't planned. But yeah, just even now, it really does seem like that Lambo is just off its pace, really. Like that gap really, really closed up.
I'm just thinking how much time they've been out there for. 25 minutes, no, 35 minutes they've been out. Tyres might be coming into play here. Obviously they're running, we know this because obviously we've spoken to these boys, they're running 0 TC on the Lambo, so it could have just eaten through a lot of that tyre. So it might struggle in these long distance races. Right, let's have a little bit of show and tell. What was the last long distance race that we had? Was it Misano? And obviously...
Yes.
We had, well, Luke actually was quite fast. He 1:33.3. I know he had twos and throws, managed to get himself back onto the podium, and obviously the latter half of that team didn't finish. So I don't think we can really compare. But never mind. I thought we'd have a bit of data on the long run of that Lambo, but we're not. No data, unfortunately.
I'm not entirely sure what has happened. I mean, obviously, I know we've sort of gone past that 30-minute mark in the race, but everyone's lap times are significantly dropping off at this point. Let's say last lap round for Luke Whitehead was into the 142s compared to pretty much everyone behind him, all the way down into 13th place, was on 141s last time round. So although we know he is a very quick gentleman, he is losing time. The Nicodem hand over fist at the moment. Oh, Fosh into the pits.
I thought we were going to see him crash then, but no, into the pits. Well, there's your yardstick, boys. We like to say it. Samir Fosh is going to be that petri dish, that test, that litmus paper. He is going to be our yardstick for the pits, and whether it's worth pitting quickly, bang on his mark, no movement as well. Good stuff from Samir there. But yes, the boys around are going to be eager to find out how much time he makes or loses. We've got some more penalties coming in. Luciano with 20 seconds. That's kind of a 60. Any news on that, Tim?
That is Luciano Whitvet for causing a moderate avoidable collision, tapping and spinning car number 29, resulting in contact with two other cars. And then, but as well as that, Luka Vidalik does receive a warning for not holding the brakes during a spin.
Oh dear. Nasty.
Yeah, so that was 2 license points and 20-second penalty for that one.
Oh, it's a shame to see such a lovely livery car so battered up. Luka Vidalik with the Herberth Motorsport Porsche was unfortunately the receiver of that punishment from Luciano in P15. Luciano must have been the spinner that we saw at the beginning, very beginning. Oh, he was off on the grass, wasn't he? Going down towards turn 10, so maybe he rejoined and caused problems. I don't know. When did it happen? Did it say?
That one was... Come on, I can normally find this info, and I'm being blind.
Don't worry about it. It's all fine. We'll say it was. Why not?
I want to say lap 8.
Okay, it wasn't what we saw then. I think we probably missed it. Chat saying Prendergast is doing a great job today. He is, actually. Fantastic job. He's up into P7 because of pit stops going on around him. Nico's pulled the old pit stop, by the way. We'll see how much Samir has managed to gain then when Nico comes in. Luciano in the pit as well. Sorry, Tim.
I was going to say that incident we saw earlier on with Wojciech, car number 34, we saw him make a mistake and go off and collected car number 45. Wojciech has actually picked up a 20-second penalty and 2 license points for that one as well, because he went off track and continued to throttle in an attempt to control the car and ended up coming across the track, leaving car number 45 nowhere to go. So yeah, 20-second penalty. And 2 license points. So big old sting for that one. But as we always say, if you go off the track, you've got to hold the brakes. Yes, if you go off the track, there's no coming back, they would say. Samir back on the track then. Where is Nico? He's just ahead. So no gain from Samir Fosh by the looks of things. He was racing around the same kind of position
as Sobchak. And he hasn't gained an advantage through pitting that lap earlier. Either that or Nico had a blinder. So Samir Foch and Nikodem slightly the first pitters. And that's how quickly it can happen. Apex 1 coming out in a good place. And going wide. Doors open for Samir. Samir follows him almost. He'll gain a bit of time through there. Sunset catching out the cold tyres for the 997 car. Whoops.
Oh, I think we've lost Valentine Barrier. He is unselectable, so I reckon there may have been a disconnect there.
Oh, Valley's gone again, eh? Unfortunately. It's probably a good thing, bless him. Yeah, he's not had a good season. He's really struggled with that Lambo, and he's gone, unfortunately. Yeah, Joel for him. Where did Val go? Not sure. He's off, he's gone. Luke Whitehead is off and gone. He's managed to gain a bit of time-ish. All the boys around him, though, have pitted. So we'll see if he holds on to this position when he decides to come in and pit, which is in the next few laps, really. So yeah, I think it's Nico we need to keep an eye on for the pitters, the fast pitters. Chris Warner is, I think, just going green out of the pit. So he'll be very interested to see where he is in comparison to Nico. Where's Nico? Let's see if we can find him. Oh, here they come. Chris Warner holds on, leading Apex 1 car then. Not sure if he gained that or if he had, just held position. I can't remember where they came in, to be honest, but there you go. Looks a little bit more spread out than what we saw when they entered the pits. But this is the gap then that will be interesting to see for Luke Whitehead for third place.
Another incident coming in now. Car number 11 versus car number 111 on lap 11. Just all the ones. Make that nice and confusing to read. 10-second time penalty and 2 license points for car number 11.
Oh, that's a shame. He's just come in and done his pit stop. Sorry, Tim. But...
Yes. No, that's all right. So that's Warner for causing a moderate avoidable collision, hitting and spinning car number 111.
Oh.
So yeah, Warner picks up a 10-second penalty, so he'll be taking that one to the end this time round. Unless it came in... Oh, no, because it hasn't actually appeared in-game yet, has it? So
it literally got told... I think you got told about it on the radio as he came in. Obviously, you've read it out, and it's not been applied, actually, yet. But it will do in the next couple of laps, I think. That's a real shame when that happens, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, Chris Warner, unfortunately, is going to get himself slapped with a 10-second time penalty for the end of the race. Could have got it done in the pit stop phase. Never mind.
It's always a bit disheartening when you have to carry that any penalty at the end of the race, because you're sort of battling on track, but you're thinking to yourself the whole time, just, any battle you're having with someone is almost pointless because you know
Here we go,
you're
Tim.
10 seconds behind them.
It's Luke Whitehead out of the pit, and he feels slow. Here comes Chris Warner. He's got a 10-second time penalty, remember, but he looks like he's the faster man. Round the outside into turn 2. I think Luke White has just about got it. Lovely cut back there from Chris Warner. He's going to put the pressure on into 3 and 4. He's still there, Tim, as he goes through 4. Lovely stuff then. Into barbecue. Luke Whitehead getting the cut back on the exit. He's on the outside now for Sunset. Not where you want to be. And this has got Nico right up the back of them. He does cut to the inside through Sunset, hoping for a little bit of an understeer from Chris Warner, and it doesn't happen. And now we've got a real fight on. Luke trying to get past on the inside. Doesn't happen. He's going to have to settle then, unfortunately, for 4th place. Net 4th, at least, for now. So there you go. Early pit stop. Chris Warner is raving about that 10-second time penalty. And that is why you saw Alejandro in 15th place earlier on. It's because of that penalty.
Yes, it was. This is where, when that 10-second penalty appears on the screen, that is when Warner, although he is no longer battling for position, that has got to be team play. It comes into mind then, doesn't it? He can hold back Whitehead that little bit, keep him within grasp of his team, teammate Nikodem, and allow sort of that position to go through. He can be a bit of a cork in a bottle. He may not actually, he's not battling for position time-wise now, but he can be a good teammate and just make sure he shuts down every opportunity for Luke Whitehead to try and gain a position. He might not be the quickest driver, he might sort of bunch everybody up, but as long as he can keep pushing back Whitehead, that's really all he has to do at this time.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. There, the penalty has now appeared. Oh, and Nikodem goes through. Nicodem goes through into turn 1. Going to be side by side. But again, this is where team order should come into play, and they could put that... I thought they were going to go for a bit of a move up the inside there, but they don't. Fosh right at the back of these guys as well, but Nicodem has gone through all on his own merit. There was me talking about team orders. Didn't need to happen. Just taking a little bit longer for Whitehead to get that car up and running and comfortable again.
Yes, got to remember he came out of the pits that lap behind. These boys have got a lap more pressure and heat into the tyres. You might see Luke Whitehead coming back a little bit more in the latter end of this lap, or keeping with them. And there's the pace of the Aston Martin car. You saw that plain as day into turn 2. Yeah, good stuff. Nico on pace then. Really good start, and that slightly earlier pit stop is definitely coming to the benefit of Nico. I don't think he'll see that by the end of the race. Luke's really struggling around here. He said it's not a strong track for him, and we're really seeing the evidence of that, unfortunately. But there we go. Gert Fischer has also pitted now. I think he is being released. Let's see if we can find him. Whereabouts is he? I know chat said, where did Prenter get 10 seconds? He hasn't got 10 seconds. That's Chris Warner we were talking about. Don't worry. Junior Prenter is fine. Prendergast is all good, and currently in P20 at the moment. Right, what happened then? Where's Gert Fischer? Is he ahead? Can't see him.
He's already down at turn 1. I think he was out the lap before. This is a flyer, I believe, this time round. This is his first flying lap, so he's already...
Is he gone, is he?
Yeah, he is miles away from anyone behind him. Where is Warner in comparison? Yeah, he's going into sunset now.
Ah, there he goes. Oh no, that was a back marker. I can hear him now.
Fair old gap.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was car number 45, the Mercedes we saw that got injured earlier on. I think that's still out there. He's running just behind Gert Fischer at the moment on track.
Oh, if only if this was for the championship, it'd be fantastic.
Oh, apparently they did give Prendergast a 10-second penalty.
Oh, maybe he served it in the pit. Maybe that's why he's all the way back down there. Because where's Jards? He's in second place. It's because he hasn't pitted. Why did they give Kieran a 10-second? I couldn't see it. I had a look on the list. I couldn't see it anywhere. So I don't know. Yeah, he did serve it in the pit, says Senior. Papa comes on and gives us the bad news. I've no idea. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I can't see that.
Believe you me, we will rattle cages until we find out.
I will. Yeah, I'm going to do my best to see what happened there, because that is a real... That's a big old...
Tim, put your cage rattling gloves on. We need to take some scalps. What happened?
Yeah, that's it. I'm on. I've got my rigger gloves on. I'm ready. I'm on full attack. I'm going after him. I'm going into the bear pit.
Jards is out the pit, guys. He's out the pit, and he's currently behind Waring, who's doing very well today as well in P11, behind DeCampo. But I think Jards will come out just behind him. Let's see. Yeah, he is actually just ahead of DeCampo, but behind Waring. So he'll be up to speed soon, and I'm sure on the back of this little pack. Samir's been like a bloodhound this afternoon, hasn't he? He's always been there, sniffing the trail. Not quite threatening, but he's always there. So we'll keep an eye on that blood red Ferrari as this race kind of continues through. 40 minutes to go then. Over halfway. On the home straight, some would say. Prentice Senior not happy about this. Gordon Ramsay comes in with a cup of coffee. Classic stewarding. I think so too. We're all sat here with crossed arms. We're not too sure what's going on. Tim's definitely got his cage rattling gloves on, and he's after blood and biscuits. I would be. I need an answer, and I need it now. Prendergast has done fantastic this whole race. Now he's down in 19th. Not good.
Yeah, a bit of an odd one. I've banged a message in to see what's going on, but yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything pop up in the race control, which is normally where you get the information.
It couldn't have been a game applied penalty. Only penalties applied by the stewards give time. What number? Oh my god! I hate to say this, guys, but I think it was a clerical error on the side of AOR, because now bear with me, it might be wrong, The person who got a 10-second penalty only a lap before was Chris Warner. He's number 11. Prendergast, number 10. I think he might have been given a penalty by mistake. I could be wrong, and I love getting the old conspiracy theory book out and have a go trance through all of those pages, but if it's my guess, I reckon it might have been that.
I mean, that is sounding like...
There you go, Gordon Ramsay, /TP, time penalty, 10-11, would be 10 seconds to car number 11, which would have hurt Warner, but instead it could have been TP 11-10, the other way around. I don't know. We'll find out, I think, from the stewards, or they go very quiet until it's investigated. I'm not too sure. That could be rectified after the race. They could be given 10 seconds by the end. So, Papa Prenter, where are you? Don't let the son go down on your son and tell him to keep his foot in, because he might get that time back at the end of the race.
I think the only way to resolve it really would be to essentially, even if it gets to the end of the race, and then in the post-race results, they would have to essentially minus 10 seconds from it, in the same way that you could, you would put add a 10-second penalty post-race, you would have to remove that 10-second penalty. But yeah, a bit of a shame, obviously, the great battles that were going on, and puts him out of position. He would have been in a different position on track. But I've put some questions in, and I can see people are seeing them and reading them and probably going, oh my good lord, what's happened? They're probably scrabbling around behind the scenes themselves now to try and work out exactly what has happened.
Oh dear. Well, that's it. Alan Racing, just clear the penalty. You can't. He's served it. He's served it. And unfortunately, he had to serve it because he ran out of fuel. There's no way he could have gone, we'll argue that. Yeah, it's because he served it. Anyway, and look, guys, chat, we are guessing. We don't know if that's the truth. We are guessing. We have every faith in the stewards, but it's an easy mistake to make if that was the mistake. But we'll find out. Unfortunately, though, for Prendergast, he would have been just behind this battle. He would have been in between the gap between Waring and Jards in 8th and 9th. He would have been 9th place. So it's a real shame that that's happened. It came in as he was going into the pit. Oh, that's disastrous. He literally go into the pit lane and bloom, 10 seconds comes up. Look, if Warner wasn't another number, i.e. if he was number 75, I would say, well, maybe something has happened and they forgot to put it up. But seeing as Chris Warner is number 11 and Kieran is number 10, I would probably say that might have happened. Never mind. Worse things have happened at sea, guys.
Yeah, that's it. In my mind, he will be moved back up the order post-race. I would presume. I can't really see there being any other way of getting round that.
It will probably be plus 10 seconds at the end of the race, if I was to have a guess. The problem is, though, he's stuck behind Calvin. Yes.
I've got a little bit of information.
He's got the card, guys.
So, car number 10 was mistakenly given a 10-second penalty instead of car number 11. Whilst the penalty for car number 10 was being removed, he entered the pits, and then the penalty was too late to be removed before it was served. So time served will be removed after the race final timings. So he will get back those 10 seconds as it happens. It's just simply a fact of a slight misslip of a finger.
Yes.
So the stewards are only human, and as they've typed it in, and they've gone, oh, hang on, that's a mistake, immediately that car's come into the pits. It's kind of just a perfect storm. So he will have that 10-second penalty removed, but yes, understandably, probably a little bit upset about that one.
Yes, that's a shame. At the moment, yes, he possibly could lose more time because he's behind Calvin in a slightly damaged Ferrari. So, yes, he might lose some time. He's got to get past Calvin. He's got a bit of work to do. But if he can get the hammer down after that, he's got a 4-second window to Terminen, and that should be, enough to kind of, make up for some of the time lost. All is not lost for Kieran Prendergast. He should get promoted back up to a nice place after the race is done. So don't Give in, Kieran. You should be okay. Oh, I hate it when I'm right sometimes. It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But you know, it is one of those things. Obviously, you know, it's in sort of real life racing. There's a case of, you know, there'd be multiple people there, and everyone would all sit down with a bit of paper and agree that yes, that's all it. Yes, 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 and then they put it through. But obviously, when it comes to sort of, you know, in game, essentially it does come down to it has to be one person that has to type in that information or click on the bits and pieces, and it's not a case of you queue it all up and go, yes, that's fantastic, then you press it. It's a case of as you're doing it, it's doing it. The live stewarding, it, you know, ACC behind the scenes. I mean, you'll know as a broadcaster, Rage, is clunky at best.
Oh God, the server settings. Have you ever run a server before? Christ.
Yeah, I have. I've got an Xbox, but never on PC. I've run servers on Xbox before, and it is an absolute mess. So yeah, it is one of those things. You know, for people at home, I understand it's very.
We've got a battle, Tim. Got a battle. It's for position for Luke Whitehead. Slight tap. The panel beater striking his namesake, going past. I think that's into turns 11 and 12, and looks like he has lost that position. Maybe gained it back. This is versus Nico. He's trying desperately to hold on. Nico, fantastic defence through 13. And this opened up an opportunity for Samir Foch to try and make a little bit of ground. And you can see Jards looming large behind this pack. Very close. And considering the pace deficit between the Lamborghini and the Aston Martin down the straight, you can tell that that Luke Whitehead's just faster through the main part of this lap. But the pace that Aston's got down the straights must be really hard for Luke to put the pressure on. Almost, but not quite. No tomato for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's going to have to really unsettle that Aston Martin going onto these fast parts of the track, trying to either force him to go defensive and really ruin that sort of entry speed onto the main straight, or he's going to have to try and just hold it around the outside and absolutely go for it and see if he can somehow gather a little more speed. But coming out of Sunset, we almost saw a move under braking there. Oh, bit of a power slide coming through from Luke Whitehead. It's coming towards the S's now. He's on an absolute charge. You can see the gap closing up ever so slightly. Who's going to get a better run up the hill? This is where the Aston's going to have an advantage again. And you can see that gap opens up by about a car's length. Luke just looks a little bit more comfortable on the brakes and getting these exits though. But again, this is another place where the Aston's going to be able to put his foot down and just peel away that distance.
Yeah,
while Samir Foch sits there and licks his lips in excitement, hoping for a little mistake from these two. The slightest rub with these two is going to see them drop back, I think. But fair play, they're both keeping each other incredibly honest.
They are indeed. Someone who's doing incredibly well, and we're not talking about him at all, is Gert Fischer and Aiden, to be fair. But Gert, in that BMW, absolutely flying. We're really only seeing a battle for third today. And we're seeing a battle for third right now because Chris Warner, with his 10-second time penalty, he's going to get dispatched all the way back outside the top 10, I would have thought, after this. He'll probably be fighting with Prendergast once he's been given his 4 seconds back. Sorry, his 10 seconds back. Luke Whitehead versus Nicodem is for third place this afternoon. Where is Jards? He might be able to keep his championship alive today. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know about that maths. That maths is... she'd be tough.
All of this, though, is leading up towards the point that this might be the first time that Whitehead is not on the podium this season. So season 14, it's got all the way to race... race 6?
Yeah.
To possibly see him not on the podium, although he's had a really nice run there through the S's. Managed to close up a little bit on Nicodem. Is he going to do anything up here at the top of the hill? Again, he's just holding on to the back of him, not quite close.
Well, this is where he had the run last time, down through 12 into 13, and had the move done, I think, in 11, and just couldn't hold on to it because of the speed of that Aston Martin. And then obviously they switched around here, and yeah, great stuff we saw from Nicodem Sobchak. Luke Whitehead is struggling. like JF said, the old panel beater's not going to get his way today. Might not even be on the podium if he can't get past this Aston with its ridiculous speed in the top gear. See it just launch away. Look at it go.
I know, it's just ridiculous, isn't it, how quick that is in a straight line? But you can see over the space of the rest of the lap, it isn't dominant. It's not, you know, one car that is overall super dominant. But here at Kyalami, it does seem to have a slight advantage in the way that, you know, where it can hold on to its positions well on the straight is where a lot of the overtaking would be done anyway. All these cars kicking up the dirt, and in fact, this is really becoming quite a train, isn't it? You can now start to see Jards in the back of the shot. I mean, I'm currently on the old Kelly cam on my view, and you can see this entire train of cars all coming through Sunset. There's nothing between them at this point.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there is. You're right. Surprised that old Conrad Ciata hasn't got his elbows out on Foch yet. That's probably the only surprise I can see there. You would have thought Conrad would have a go, but he's probably suffering from the same thing that we're seeing with Luke here. Everyone knows that Porsche is really bad on the wing. You'd really have to clip it out to get some pace down the back straight, and that would absolutely destroy your cornering speed in the main part of this lap. So it's a real balance, I think, for these cars. You can see how quick he is through the apexes. Able to get the power on quicker is that Lamborghini, definitely. Better in the braking zone, better on the loud pedal to get the power down again. But just the straights just get munched. They're just gone. There's nothing you can do to hold on. Look at the gap, look. 2 meters already. Now out to about 3 meters. That's ridiculous. There's a car's length already, and they were bumper to bumper going through the apex.
Yeah, I really thought that time that Luke was possibly going to be there in the tow and able to catch up with him. Oh, big, nice move there under braking. Does close up the gap even more. Is he queuing something up here? He's definitely trying to look to see if he can do anything through barbecue. Possibly not. Oh, with a mistake there from Nicodem. And now the inside goes to Luke Whitehead. Up towards Sunset. It's going to be his corner to lose. Gets on the brakes super late. Just holds onto that line, a little bit unsettled, but Nicodem is going to have to try and fight back if he can do here. Into Clubhouse, no, can't do it. And Luke Whitehead takes away the position, and I think it's going to be a real challenge for Nicodem to try and take that back.
Well, Nico's just got to stay. He's got to stay on his box, and he might be able to get a run down the straights. But he's losing that time. Look, that's how quick Luke is through those fast sweeping corners in that Lambo.
That's the thing, I don't think he's going to be able to hang on to the back of him now, because he isn't able to slow that Lambo down to sort of mid-corner to give him the advantage when it comes to the straights. So I think now that Whitehead isn't being held up mid-corner, he can carry a little bit extra speed on the straights. Oh, but there we go. I nearly thought there was going to be a move there for a moment at Crocodiles. But no, they managed to hold it together for another little bit longer down towards Cheetah.
Let's see what happens into turn 2 here, Tim. I reckon there might be another move from Nico.
Oh, mistake from Nico there on that final turn, and that has given Whitehead a little bit of room, and Foch is right on the back of Nico. Not going to be close enough to make the move. It is just insane how quick Nicodem's car is in a straight line. I reckon he's running quite a reasonably low. Oh, Jards goes through in the background as well. Jards just moved through on Waring. I don't know if he's made that stick or not. Yes, he has.
I think Luke's managed to hold on to that.
Yeah, I think he's got it. I think at this point he's opened up enough of a gap. I think it's just the fact that, yeah, now he's being able to maintain that entry and mid-corner speed. He isn't seeing such a deficit on the exit.
So that's third pace, really. Obviously, with Chris Warner with his penalty, he's going to get dropped all the way back down. So Luke Whitehead is on the podium at the moment. And there's Jards, other contender, slightly behind in 8th place. Not too sure what the maths would be. I might have a little calculator session whilst you guys watch what happens here. We'll go on board with Samir.
There's definitely some damage in the armour there for Nicodem and Foch. very much be looking to take advantage of that. And we were saying earlier on about the fact that we didn't really feel like Seata was pushing hard, but I think you're now starting to see a little bit of a sort of a pressure gain here. Foch definitely on the attack there, closes right up on the back of Nicodem. Isn't going to be close enough to get the toe, but that was very, very close. Oh, Vitalik with a drive-through penalty. So that is going to be for track limit infringements. That is an in-game penalty. So it's only ever really time penalties given by our stewards. So if it's a drive-through or a stop-go 30, that will be a in-game generated penalty. But that AAA car of Samir Foch, he's certainly looking like the aggressor at this point, and that Aston Martin is starting to look a little bit unsettled on the back end. Saw it a couple of laps ago when he was up against Whitehead, and we saw him lose a little bit of traction as he came through Barbecue, and this time around he had a little bit of wiggle on the exit as well, but Foch not able to make quite so much ground as Whitehead did. Definitely
update
there.
for you on the championship. Luke Whitehead is currently in a position where he could take the championship now, this race. If it ends where it ends at the moment, with Jards in 8th, he might get 7th place because of what happens to Chris Warner. I think he will. I don't think he's got enough in hand at the moment. I'm
going to come out and say that I think Jards might gain a position on Seata as well here anyway, plus the bonus of Josh Warner's penalty. Sorry, Chris Warner's penalty, because he is really pushing forward. Nicodem is becoming quite the cork in the bottle, it would seem. So
if Jards gets past Conrad, he'll be on for, where's Conrad? 7th, but technically it'll be 6th. So that would be 59 points. And at the moment, he is on, let's have a look, 361. That's 420 points. That's still not enough. So 420 points. At the moment, Luke Whitehead is on 479. And if he finishes in 3rd place, that'll get him 79 points. So he'll be on 558 at the end of this. 420, 558. Even with a win, he's more than he's over 100 ahead. So at the moment, even with a 6th place, Jards still eludes this championship today.
And I think it's all but done, isn't it? Barring any sort of big incidents.
Where would Jards have to get to stay alive at the moment? Staying alive. What's he on at the moment? Let's have a look. Jards is 361. He's got to win. He's got to win. Yeah. So he's not going to do it. So Jards 361. I think 2nd place is 88 points. That'll give him 449 at the moment. That's still not enough. So he needs to win, and he's not winning. So I think it's going to be Luke Whitehead for 4th championship, if nothing goes wrong with Luke, obviously.
You never know. We've seen things go awry. I mean, we saw Vale earlier on, obviously disconnecting. It isn't the way you want to ever gain a position, but if your championship rival does disconnect, then fantastic, easy points.
It's getting closer, that pack, isn't it?
Really is becoming quite the cork in the bottle at this point. They're absolutely nose to tail as they entered the pit straight. A little bit deep there from Foch into turns 1. Possible move here we're going to see from Jards against Conrad Seata as well. It's like watching a big vehicular accordion here this evening. They all bunch up and then they all stretch out again. Like Stretch Armstrong. Oh, move up the inside there from Jards on Seata. Doesn't
optimistic.
Quite get it to work. It was a bit optimistic. I think it was a case of showing the nose and hoping that Seata would maybe give him room and back out in fear of incident. But no, I think Seata just about maintained the pressure, left a little bit of room so there was not an incident between them, but definitely kept the nose closed off enough to make sure that Jards wasn't going to get an easy run. But he's now seen there is a spot of weakness in Seata, and Honzik will be very, very much certain that he wants to push forward. He smells blood in the water. What happened to second? Oh no, what's happened here? What's happened to second place?
That's Gert Fischer. Where is he?
Where's he gone?
He's disconnected. Gert Fischer is... Oh, God.
Oh.
Gert's gone. Gert's gone, guys.
I'm curling up in a ball in the comms booth. I'm in the corner, rocking backwards and forwards. Someone get me a glass of water and a shot of adrenaline. Oh, God. Oh, God, do we really want to do this? Where is Gert on the championship standings? What could have that been for him? Oh, God. Bless his soul. Where is he? He's quite a long way down, actually. Gert Fischer was... I found him earlier on, and now I've lost him. He was 36th place. He's only actually competed in 2 other races so far this season. So realistically, championship point-wise, it wasn't really anything. But it would have been
it's
a second-place podium.
Yes.
You know.
That's what I was looking for. It would have been Gert's possibly first podium with us. I'm going to go to the previous season and just see if we managed to get anything like that. No. Oh, his best before is a 4th place. Oh, Gert. Let's just see if I go back another season, if we still had the Fisherman. I think we might have done. We've had him for a while, Gert Fischer.
While we've been chatting, Samir Foch has dropped back.
Oh, no.
Thank you, chap, for letting me know what happened there.
Gert Fischer has actually had 2 podiums with us, so, you know, dry your eyes, mate, unfortunately. Mechanical. Foch behind yards now. Well, what happened? Let's go back a minute, maybe. Let's see if we can find out what happened. Excuse. Oh, we just saw the end of it. Terribly sorry. Where is that? That would have been into turns 5. So, yeah, it looked like first sector disaster for Samir. So that's another scalp for Jards. He's collecting them today. Not enough, though. He does battle with him for a long time, actually. Samir Foch round the outside of Clubhouse, and then has to give in, unfortunately. So I think that all happened going in turns 2, and it ended up in turns 5. We had the incident, so yeah, sorry about that. Missed it on track. We will resume normal running after this is run its course, which will only be a few seconds or so. And then we'll have to hopefully quickly change camera. Oh, Gert Fischer. Disaster.
Devastating when you see it, isn't it? I mean, we always say that a disconnect in game is the same as sort of a mechanical failure in real life, but it still doesn't make it any easier, especially for anyone watching at home supporting Gert Fischer. And the fact that he was doing so well this evening, absolutely flying out there in 2nd place. I mean, he was beholden only to one man of Aidan Walshingham, and he just, let's be honest, Aidan's been on another level this evening, absolutely flying around the entire time. Still holding on to the fastest lap of the race as well. That was with a 1:40.792 earlier on.
Gert was only a 10th and a half off that, which is quite surprising. Almost 10th and a bit, 10th and some change off that time. What a fantastic position that could have been for Gert. Heartbroken. It would have been a great return to form. Yeah, only a lap or so ago we were saying how fantastically he's driven this race, and how much we haven't paid much attention to him because he's been going so well. In any normal race, when we've got the likes of Luke and Aidan battling for the 1st place spot, you normally see what's going on for 2nd and 3rd, and just unfortunately we just didn't concentrate on it. I wonder where it happened, or wonder why it happened. Probably a connection issue. One of those things. It's like when your engine pops in real life. Unfortunately, it's a hardware issue. Is like one of those. It's a mechanical, just a virtual one. We're on board with Jards.
You do see a lot more in real life GT3 racing. You do see cars dropping out left, right, and centre throughout the race. Even on the little 60-minute sprints, you do see plenty of drivers having to retire due to mechanical failure.
And due to crashes as well.
Flagged. Yeah, exactly. You think you can't get black flagged and stuff. Here, if you have a bit of a bump with someone, your car may look damaged and you may have picked up sort of 10 seconds worth of damage, but that's just 10 seconds. But you can do it at your own leisure, or you can go all the way to the end, whereas you think in real life, if someone decides you have a bit of a bump and then your bonnet's flipped up over the front of your windscreen, not only does that kill your in-lap, but you're going to get flagged by, for a mechanical warning, regardless, aren't you? So, swings and roundabouts and all that.
I wonder how long Conrad Siata can hold Jards back for. You would have thought Jards would have been through by now. Conrad, though, right on the back of Nicodem. I would say possibly a move in the first sector. Nico using all of the dirt available through Cheetah, getting Ingwe completely wrong, and here comes Jards then. He's got a run on Conrad. Conrad weaving once, not going to weave any more, unfortunately for him. Jards getting pushed to that exit again. Doesn't want to go down the same route as he had with Abe Semtema. And that looks like a move done-ish through the apex. And yeah, Jards, I think, will hold that. Forces the position away from Conrad Siata. Well, there you go. It's happened.
I think Siata will be very disappointed in that one. His entrance to that back straight was really, really compromised by Nicodem, and it just meant that the Aston Martin of Jards could just unleash that top-end performance. Although it did take about about 4/5 of the main straight for him to actually get the move done and get down the inside. And Conrad Siata was not willing to give up that position easily. Tried to go around the outside at turn 1, just wasn't able to make it stick. And here we see it now, the swapped positions.
Well, we'll see equal machinery go toe-to-toe in the next few laps, I think. It does look like Jards has got a slight better hold on his car than the man in front of him, so not sure how long it would take, but I think Jards will possibly get past. Talking of get past, Luke Whitehead is right on the back of Chris Warner. Considering the 10-second time penalty, do you think Chris will make it easy for him?
Not at all.
No?
No, I don't really see why he would. He's certainly not going to risk a crash, but as far as he is concerned, on track they are battling for position. Apart from obviously that 10-second penalty, he has been matching the pace. He's been doing pretty well. He's not quite on the same pace as Whitehead anymore, but for a lot of this race he's been up there. Obviously, bar the penalty, he would have been there, in this position naturally, wouldn't he? But a bit of a shame, obviously, with that 10-second penalty and taking it all the way to the end. Oh, big slide there from Luke Whitehead as he's chasing after the back of Warner. But no, I don't think Warner's going to make it easy. I don't see a reason why he would. He's got nothing to lose by battling hard and and losing a couple of positions overall. Whereas Chris Warner in the championship, he's down in 12th place at the moment. He is the leading Apex 1 driver over Nowicki is another one of the Apex 1 drivers.
Nicodem's slightly higher, isn't he? He's got a win.
Nicodem isn't in the championship coming up as an Apex 1 driver.
Oh. He's definitely an Apex 1 driver.
he is an Apex 1 driver, but I don't know why he's not actually appearing in the championship as an Apex 1 driver.
It might be, he's got a slightly different livery than these boys, so it might be that the two McLarens are teammates, and Nicodem is still Apex 1, but he's a slightly different livery, different team, let's say. Maybe they've got two teams. Who knows?
It all becomes a bit of a... I'm really hoping that was me that
was
had a wobble.
us. There might be another driver that's just Narnia'd themselves. Let's keep an eye on those times. Because normally when we have a little incident like that, as Jards runs Nico to the pit wall again, normally that's a car disappearing, unfortunately. Hopefully it's no one in the top end. I can still click on Aiden, so I think we're okay in that sense. Could be a reserve Loca, could be. You'll probably be able to find out next lap because everyone will be on 47 and they'll stay on 46 or 45. I think we're okay. Who knows? We're on board with Jards at the moment, trying desperately to unwrap Nico.
Whitehead still chasing after the back of Warner as well.
Yeah.
He's looking a little bit messy, personally, I think.
Luke.
Under 10 minutes, Whitehead, to be fair. I think those rear tyres maybe again starting to wear out. We did see his pace drop right off towards the end of his last stint. So we'll have to wait and see, I think, on that one. But I think he's looking a little bit more choppy than normal.
They're equal pace, these McLarens and Lambos. I wouldn't say one is slightly faster on the straights than the other. I'd say maybe that Lambo's a little bit quicker in the middle part of the corner. So yeah, I think they're quite equal. So I don't think it'll take too long for Luke to get into a position where he can overtake. Unlike what's happening behind him, with Jards desperately trying to stop the car, and you can tell that he locked up there because Conrad Ciata's right on the back of him, and there goes Samir Foch, who's always been there but never quite, unfortunately, this time. But yeah, Jards still desperately trying to get past that Apex 1 car. Not happening, not yet. What a train though, look at it all. Sorry.
I know, just under 9 minutes, and so this battle within the top 5 is absolutely humongous. Still all the way back. Who's that back there? I think that's all the way back to
Mattia.
Avalays. Oh, Mattia.
Yeah, Mattia de Campo.
It's great to see the names all up here again. They're just so close at this point. I mean, we knew there wasn't going to be a massive amount of overtaking here this evening. I mean, to be fair, I think we've had a nice little run of it. There's been a small amount of it, at least. It seems to have been a lot of the time. It's Aston Martin versus the world this evening.
Definitely. Aston Martin down the pitch straight versus the world.
Pretty much. Although Jards took a bit of a tighter line there as he came down the hill, and I think it did gain him a bit of time in the braking zone. He definitely, as he came down through mineshaft, was trying to sort of eke every last ounce of speed out of that car. And again, the two Astons are going to tear away from the pack.
I think Luke is happy to stay where he is now. I don't think he'll want to get past Warner. There's no need to threaten. It's as high up as he's going to get. He's got the championship. Why risk a DNF at this stage? I'll be very surprised to see Luke Whitehead make a move on Chris Warner, unless it's given to him. I don't think he'll force it. No need. Got championship literally being served to him on a platter. His only rival is behind him when he needed to be in front. But hey, look, Jards started in P14, wasn't it? Or was it 17? I can't remember now. 17, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And now he's 5th. Going to be 4th. It's pretty good. Pretty good going.
Yeah. That is, yeah, it's some seriously good going. And again, at a circuit where we said overtaking is hard to do, he has really pushed forward. It's only now that he's come up behind another Aston Martin that he's really sort of finding there's no way to unstick Nicodem. So everywhere he'd have an advantage is car number 39997. They have the same disadvantages and advantages. Little look under braking there, though, from Jards. Oh, and there was a mistake under brakes. Nicodem goes a little bit deep and leaves the space open. They'll be side by side, Jards, as they come down through. Still side by side, little rub. They've just about held it together. There's a rub there. Ciata going off wide. Jards does go through. Ciata.
Oh, he's not happy.
No, I'd imagine there'll be some big flashing of the lights there.
Yeah, Nico's flashing.
I didn't see who actually hit him there.
So it was Jards gave him a tap through Cheetah, and then it looked like Nico and Conrad Ciata came together. Conrad went wide through Ingwe, and Samir managed to get the place from Conrad. So yeah, it looks like Conrad swapped around. Nico went up, and obviously Nico went down, sorry, and Samir went up. Conrad dropped back 1 place. So 1 place lost for Nico, 1 place lost for Conrad, 1 place gained for Jards, 1 place gained for Samir. That was easier, wasn't it?
Yeah, easy as pie. Very, very simple.
Look at Jards go now, though. It's off after Luke.
Can he do it? I don't think he'll be able to catch up at the back of Luke. So how long have we got left? Just under 5 minutes left of the race. I think that gap is just going to be too much. Their pace is reasonably similar. It's too big of a gap, I think. And and again,
Calculator's coming out again, Tim.
Calculator's coming out again.
I still don't think, even if Jards can get into second place and Luke finishes in third, I don't think it's enough. He'll be 558 points. Jards gets into second. It's 88 points. 449 points. So that means Luke still, with a 100-point advantage, can win. It's not done, but it would be Luke Whitehead would still have to win next race to get it. I think it is done, actually, because Jards can't get enough points, even with a win. So it would be done, even with a second place for Jards and a third place for Luke. So yeah, I mean, the only way that Jards can hold him off is if Aidan Walsingham had an issue now, and somehow Jards managed to get past Luke, which ain't going to happen.
I think it's done. I think at this point it is done. Going to be a bit of a shame going into the final race of the season with things already wrapped up next week. Obviously Jards and Conrad Ciata were the next, so that was the battle for second place in the championship, and there was 61 points. I do apologise. There was 57 points between those two at the beginning of this race. And Jards is going to extend that again slightly more.
Well, no, because Aidan will add 100 points to his tally. So he'll be 394, and Jards will be roughly 440 odd. So it will be a fight for second place.
So the first place battle will be very exciting, as there will be no battle. But the second place battle will be. I think that would be nice to keep going forward to. It's the same thing happening again. Oh, mistake there from Conrad. Got a little bit bunched up behind Samir Foch there, and he got a little bit unsettled. Car number 992 somehow didn't lose a position, but it is all stacking up behind him, and Josh Waring now is fully on the attack and looks like he might be able to make a move into turn one.
Manages to hold on. Conrad, very brave. Yeah, keeps the position despite the mistake. Samir licks his lips with more pace and more time involved.
Amazed he held on to that then. It was one of those moments where it all looked a little bit Pete Tong. I think it was actually Samir Foch that slowed them all down and bunched them right up. And again, Ciata really getting on the anchors to stop there being any contact. He nearly got collected by... I don't think it was Josh Waring. I think it was Avalez. They nearly came together. Everyone doing an absolutely fantastic job of getting the cars stopped just about in time.
It will be one more lap after this, Tim, just FYI, with 1 minute and 30 left, and Aidan hadn't crossed the line. So last lap then, coming on to this one and one more, and it will be the end of the line for the championship at least. Luke Whitehead, as it stands, and I make that clear, will take away championship number 4 and put himself into the history books of AOR. First time any driver has managed to get 4 championships, 2 of which have come on the trot, I think, maybe even 3. It's Vettel-esque then from Luke Whitehead at the moment.
He really has just been absolutely blisteringly quick, hasn't he? It's not just this race, not just this season, previous seasons as well. It's just been... Well, I mean, it is a pleasure to be commentating on this era of esports. I mean, I don't really see anybody coming into the limelight that is going to be enough of a threat to dethrone him straight away.
I don't know.
There are some fast guys out there, but it depends whether or not they're in the same championship.
Yes.
They've got to come here to AOR.
I'd love to get Malinowski back. I would love to get Kevin Siklari. see what they've got up against Luke Whitehead. That would be fantastic. Get Tinker van der Velde back, see if he can have a fight with Luke again. There was a young American driver that was incredibly quick a few seasons ago. I can't remember his name. Chat, you might be able to remember that. I can't remember his name, Tim, but he was blisteringly quick, and I think he was only 16.
Could he say it just before the end of the thing?
Yes, go.
Jard's 5-second penalty and a licence point.
Oh, God, never mind. Aidan Morsingham claims his first victory this season, possibly the first victory for AOR, and well deserved that was. Jards with 5-second time penalty. That will be for the incident with Nico, I think. Chris Warner's going to come across the line and get displaced all the way back down to the Outer Hebrides. Luke Whitehead will be second place. Jards is going to lose then that third place, and he's going to be popped all the way back down, I think, to outside the top 10. It's hideous for him. He's going to be very annoyed about that. Nico will claim third. Samir Foch in fourth. God, it's going to be very hard to say what happens next, but look at this ending. So many drivers racing to the end. Absolutely brilliant stuff. There's Kieran Prendergast. Whereabouts would he be? 2 seconds behind Terminen. I think he might get 12th place, maybe even 11th at the end there, possibly 10th. Disaster for him. But yeah, fantastic race all round. Can't take it away from the speed of Luke Whitehead this season and just the dominance. He's rarely made a mistake. Misano was the only rule, and to be fair, none of those mistakes were his. He's really got let down by the driving standards around him. Chris Warner's going to be bitterly disappointed with that penalty, I think. But yeah, Luke Whitehead, 4-time champion with AOR. There you go.
I'm just seeing it in the chat. Quite a few people asking what that penalty was for. That was the incident we saw at...
Cheetah with Nico, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Cheetah with Nico. Yeah, and they have said that he did not leave enough space on the exit of the corner and pushed off Nico. So that's what they've decided.
Yeah, great stuff there. Lots of congratulations coming in for Luke. For Aidan. Incredible pace. But yes, mega job. Well done for him. People aren't. I don't think they're putting their hands together right now for the champion, the top dog, Luke Whitehead. I think he is pretty much. I don't think he can be caught now. I think that's it. We can double check. But I'm pretty sure that is all she wrote for the championship. I mean, we've been wrong before, so we won't count my chickens. Let's see if we can have a chat then with the top three. The top three would be Aidan Walsingham, Luke Whitehead, and I think Nicodem. I don't think Nico would join us because of language. I think he didn't join us last time when he won. I'm not sure he'll join us for a third. So it'll be a chat with the two Veloce boys. Let's get one of them in. Aidan, congratulations. I said not 1 week ago it'll be fantastic to see you up on the top spot for a time here in season 14. And hey, it came from Kyalami, and it was 90 minutes worth of pain. How was it for you in that car for those full 90 minutes?
It was all right. Bit of pressure in the first stint from Kyalami. He kept pretty close. He was sat within 2 seconds the whole time, so just did my best to manage pace, don't let him into the slipstream, but also don't push and do anything stupid. And it's really unfortunate he disconnected in the second stint.
Yes.
He really deserved that P2 for sure, and should have kept the pressure on through until the end of the race.
I think that would have been his highest finishing position in AOR as well, which is disastrous for Gert.
It is, yeah. And, well, I mean, it's the highest finishing position for me as well. I think
yes,
that's my first
I know.
AOR win.
Fantastic news. Yeah, mate, you've been fantastic this season. I know, obviously, and it's, no fault of your own, being overshadowed slightly by your teammate, but I said it's only time. It's going to come because you've been really, apart from Misano, faultless this season. So congratulations, and hopefully next time out we can see even next year, because I think the season's kind of summed up now. But you've still got a fight on for second place in the championship, and now with those 100 points and also that penalty that Jarge just got at the end, he's going to be down outside the top 10. I think second place is really up for grabs now.
Yeah, I it's not right to ask about the penalty, but I want to ask about the penalty because
which one?
He said he didn't touch anyone. in voice chat just now.
Well, I'm sure he can protest. I think if he gives his information, I'm pretty sure that the appeal system's still there. But yeah, I mean,
I hope that gets rectified. But yeah,
I don't know. Unfortunately, I think the stewards had a bit of a mare anyway. There was a penalty given to Kieran Prendergast, who was doing a fantastic race in the first stint, and he got given it in the pit lane entry. Unfortunately, it was meant for Chris Warner, I think. But
no,
it was car 11, and it was given to him instead of car 10. So yeah, unfortunately, because he had to serve it, he was in the pit lane, couldn't be removed in time. So disaster for Kieran. So yeah, I think the stewards boys had a bit of a mare. It's only right that they have one. I know us streamers have it too sometimes, but you didn't. You had a fantastic race, and well done. Congrats on the first win in AOR. I know there's not loads of prizes given for AOR, but it is a good thing to have, and it is community driven, and it's one of the tightest leagues going, like pace wise. So well done, amazing.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
No problem. I'm sure we'll talk to you again next week. We've got Monza? Yes, and I've got a sneaking suspicion your teammate's not too good round Monza either, so you might have win number 2.
I'm not going to get my hopes up.
Go on, I'm going all in on Aiden next season. Yeah, go for it, mate. Good stuff. Thank you for joining us. No problem. Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's get old Luke up for a little chat, and I think we can congratulate him on a championship. Well done, Luke. I think that's 4, mate. I think that might be 4. I don't think it's mathematically possible for anyone to catch you now with that amount of points.
I did the maths.
He's done them. Of course, he's done the bloody maths. I was sat there with a calculator, and you've already done it. I think you are the champion, aren't you?
Yeah, I needed to score 11. Well, I had an 18-point delta, I guess.
Yes, you did.
So if he scored 19 more than me, it would go to the last round, and obviously we finished ahead. So
yeah,
and everyone else, like Conrad and Aiden, were too far back. So yeah, I did the
think
maths
so.
and knew the equation. So although my pace was pretty shocking, I stuck with it. So yeah, it was a shame not to get another win, but again, Aiden drove phenomenally. So GG's to him. He was unstoppable, and
it was great pace from him, wasn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, really, really happy for him. He's deserved it. He's been really close, getting closer and closer and closer, and then today he's just absolutely kicked ass. Absolutely kicked ass, to be honest. So, he's really hit it hard. He's hit the training hard, and it shows. So, GG's to him. He was, in a class of 1.
I think he may have cottoned onto the fact you weren't very good round here, or weren't as good round here.
Yeah, we did have this discussion before the race, and to be fair, today I was having to do some other work, some other prep for other events and other setup work, etc., for other cars. So I knew I wasn't going to be the best prepped either. And as I say, like he goes well here, and he's just been really quick recently anyway. So it was about time that he got that result that he deserved. So, awesome drive from him. Absolutely perfect.
You say you had the chat before. Was that chat, obviously, if it doesn't affect the championship, I won't fight you type deal?
No, honestly, it was just a case of just, we both have the same events this week. We were both just sort of talking about what events to be. We're doing a driver swap race together tomorrow. And I know that he's not got much time to prep tomorrow. So I was trying to get some of the prep done today, so that he'd be ready to prep after this race. So it's just kind of knowing what we're both doing, and obviously, as I say, we get on really well.
It's a proper team outfit, isn't it, you boys? So. You obviously work brilliantly together, and yeah, doing it. So you're doing a swap. So it's 2 drivers per 1 car over a set time, yeah?
That's correct. And we're fighting for the championship in that tomorrow as well.
I was going to say, what a flipping dream team that must be. The Ripper and Walsingham going toe to toe.
Yeah, I mean, us two get on, as I said, we get on really well, and we've been working collaboratively a lot. And as I say, like it's good to see him getting that result today. But obviously, for me, it's only been a long time coming. I've seen the improvement that he's been making, and I see the amount of work that he puts in, and no one deserves it more than he does. So,
you do say that though, Luke. But I think you're the only person now in the history of AOR GT3 Tier 1 that's got 4 championships. I think you were equal with Kevin Ciclari, possibly, with 3.
I'm not entirely sure.
Yes.
3 in a row as well was nice.
Yeah.
Because that one blip in the middle where I drove the godforsaken Honda, I regret it still.
Tinko got ya 1 year.
Yeah.
Almost Vettel-esque with 4 in a row. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure in saying that no one else so far has actually got 4 championships. Well, maybe we'll get on the phone to we'll get on the phone to Kevin Siklari. I said as well, maybe we can wrangle the Malinowski back in the Porsche, see if we can get you some top tier competition of old, see how that goes. I said as well, there was a young American driver that did very well, maybe season 10. I can't remember for the life of me what his name was. And he was incredibly quick. Maybe he was a little bit of competition for you. But at the moment, mate, we're running out of drivers to put up against you.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, like I obviously started the season really well, came out the blocks kind of firing, and yeah, obviously this race was a bit of a blip, as I kind of predicted last week. You know, I said I'd be pretty weak here by comparison. So, but as I say, like it's all about just putting a season together. We've had a lot of things go our way. You know, obviously other people have had bad luck, and you know all the other things. You know, because as I say, it's not all just about raw pace and everything like that. Everything has to go in your favor. You have to have all the luck and everything go right. You know,
Yes.
there's people that have had disconnects. Obviously, Gert had that disconnect. He was second up until middle of the race. You know, Conrad had that disconnect at Misano when he was leading. You know, so we didn't have any of that. So, you know, although Misano was a bit unlucky in itself, the rest was just really, you know, we had everything go our way. You know, so it wasn't all just me. It was a bit of fortune always in there. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it also helps to have a good teammate as Aiden, you know, working with you and, you know, pushing me forward as well. As I say, as much as, you know, he's been making inroads, I've also been making progress myself, learning stuff from him as well. So it's helpful. It's very helpful. So.
Well, seeing as you are the champion 4-time, and I normally only kind of reserve this bit for the champions, but tell the chat and everyone watching in the VOD where we can find information about Luke Whitehead, because I know you offer quite a few services, whether it be training and tuition. Where's the best place to find you and your socials and your bits and pieces?
Yeah, so I still do coaching. It's been very busy recently, so I haven't done it as much, but I haven't promoted it as much, but I still do it. I have a Discord. I might have to put that in chat if you guys are okay with that, just so that it's there.
No, the 4-time world champion can't put anything in the chat. Of course you can. Yes.
Okay.
Chat away. Chat away.
If anyone is welcome, everyone is welcome. You know, we don't bite. But also I work with Go Setups as well. There's an affiliate link in that Discord as well. I'd appreciate it if people used it. I make a lot of setups there, and I think they're pretty decent. And yeah, just in general, thanks everyone for watching the streams from Apex as well. Like, you know, I love the guys that are in comms box with me. They're always great, and yeah, it's great to see them season in, season out. You know, always being likable and chatty. You know, chatting about beans I've seen on streams, and you know, where else did you get that, guys?
There's been some crazy conversations in the AOL comms box. I'm not going to lie.
Well, it's always the way.
Of course, put your Discord in there, and yeah, no worries. And I know you do some streaming as well. What's your Twitch handle?
Yeah, so if I remember correctly, I need to check this. I think it's twitch.tv/LukeWhitehead_. So
There you go.
yeah, everyone's more than welcome, as I say. Like, you know, we don't bite. Everyone's welcome. It'd be great to see people in there. But yeah, thanks again for hosting this championship. I always thoroughly enjoy it.
No problem. Appreciate you jumping in. I hope to see you again next year, but we do have another race before then, so don't give up the ghost, because it could still be another win. It's Monza. I know you said you weren't too keen on Monza last time we chat, so, you know, has there been some practice going on that area, or has that been like, oh, maybe Aiden can get another win there, or, you know, foot off the pressure now?
I've got 7 races this week,
Oh, Christ.
including this one. So it depends how burnt out I'm feeling. I might just turn up and do a grin and go.
Well, there you
yeah,
go.
I'll have to see what happens.
Should we do a last to first challenge?
Oh, don't tempt me.
Yes!
My schedule's changing. My schedule's changing every week. Every day, actually. So
The chat have been screaming for it, mate. I'm not going to lie. Luke last to first challenge has been a constant in chat for, I don't know, 4 or 5 races. So, yeah, that would be fantastic if you could do that. That'd be brilliant. But, I mean,
we shall see.
if you can.
We shall see.
If you can.
We shall see, my
Appreciate
friends.
you coming in
Great
and
to
having a
with
chat.
you guys again.
No probs, man. It's always a pleasure. You know, we're always on Team Luke, so well done. Unstoppable this season. It's been dominant, so well done. Good stuff.
Thanks, boys. Have a good one, guys. Take care.
You'll get another set of SIMSOKs. I mean, I don't know if you want them. You're probably stacking these things now.
No. I wear them all the time.
They're good, right?
Yeah, no, they're great. They're great. They're really comfy.
I've got a couple of
I
sets
don't
stacked over
I
there.
don't use them for their own purpose though. I have boots, but they're still really comfy, and I
There
wear
you
them
go.
as like just socks around the house. They're nice. I
They're
like
good.
them.
They're like slipper socks, but they're only ankle ones, so they're good. They're good. If you want to get yourself a set of
exactly,
SIMSOKs, boys, Google SIMSOK. It's brilliant. But there you go. Luke, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in.
Boys.
We'll see you next week, I'm sure. See you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Ah, it gives me almost like end of season vibes just having a chat to the champion, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Obviously, knowing that it's already wrapped up before the final round. I mean, technically, he could just not bother showing up whatsoever if he wanted to, or just DNF. He could just start and then go.
That's what you alluded to at the end there, didn't it? It was like, it depends what the schedule is. But yeah, I mean, the boy's a flipping genius behind the wheel. He's ex-karter, isn't he? He stopped karting over COVID time and came into to esports. That's the caliber of Luke Whitehead. Crazy, eh? Well, go on. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, it just goes to show that if you're good behind a wheel, you're good behind any wheel, really. And so whether it be sim racing or real life.
He's definitely got those.
Name to keep an eye on.
He's got those butt sensors working very well for him. He knows how to turn a car on a dime. Anyway, guys, if you want to join us next week, you know where we are. Same time, same place. 19:30 UK time. If you want to see the same as what you saw today, but for Tier 2, you can join us tomorrow at the same time at 19:30. And your boy Tim will be hosting that on the same YouTube channel. So do come and watch that. I think the season is somewhat summed up as well for the winner. Am I right? I think.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. I think the gap's even bigger for us in
God,
Tier 2.
No, Fabio is winning very much so.
Yeah, 173-point gap for first place. But the battle for second place is very close between Clifford Jones and Kaz Lucas. Not a lot between them.
Yes.
So it's all still very much to play for outside of the top. But I think Zerban has definitely earned himself a slot up in Tier 1 next year.
I think so. Yeah, it's obviously very fast.
Only ever being first and second.
Oh, let's have a look at that actually. One sec. He's second, first, second. Not as dominant as Luke, I must say, but we can't have a separate Luke split, even though it would be good. Yeah, it looks like Fabio needs a little click up. Well, there you go. You saw the times. Race times are 140 lows, weren't they? Ish. So I mean, you know how far away he is of those. He's probably a top 10 runner, really, isn't he? It's a shame Matt York's dropped off a little bit. The old Yorkie, never mind. Anyway, want to see that, guys? Hop in tomorrow and you can see the 90-minute race round Kyalami again. Well, another year where it came up Whitehead. I'm not surprised. He's incredibly quick. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. If we can get Malinowski and Kevin Siklari back, 1 year it went down to the wire, and I actually interviewed them both as they discussed how one of them punted the other off for the championship. Tim, it was disastrous. I even got nudges from coordinators say, I think you should stop the stream. Hopefully we can get that kind of drama back into the comms box. I really do. Tim, before we end, anything to end on before we run away?
I mean, you pretty much said it. Join us tomorrow for Tier 2. Really appreciate it. Same time, same place, 7:30 tomorrow. If not, it's wrong M.
Monza.
It's Monza next week, and that is the final. It's all still to play for in the championship. If not the win, it is at least still to play for in the second. And it's as we're going into the final round. It's been an absolute pleasure being here again for another season. So. And it's nearly all done. Nearly all done. It's
nearly
been
all done
the
for
quickest
Christmas
season ever. I know. And then I've got a space of reality that I haven't even thought about Christmas yet.
I get my Mondays
my
back
jumper.
and my Tuesdays.
From the... yes. I can't think of it. What am I going to do?
Maybe we can start an army or something. I don't know. Anyway, guys, we'll see you another time. See you next week. See you tomorrow for those who are joining for Tier 2. It's been a pleasure. And join us for Monza next week.
Good night.